It's time! It's time for this week's Game of the Week!
24-year career.
Alright,
I believe he's Canadian.
this matchup has been waited for since the schedules were released. However, it has been sullied a bit by my team's lack of staying healthy.
24 years and has never played for Edmonton.
It's hurt, but I shall survive. Wembley versus Manningsception.
So George Foreman is with us now.
The championship game that should have been. Manningsception, came up big. I didn't. Anyhow, week 5, big matchup. Manningsception is at home. And not only are they at home, they're scheduled to, kill us. Who knows? Injuries, obviously David Johnson, Julio Jones, Greg Olsen, and Corey Davis. For me, they're out, IR'd, questionable, or on a bye. I got to get a kicker, but Matt Bryant's out. Julio Jones, obviously, is on a bye. Adrian Peterson, which doesn't really matter, is on a bye. Manningsception has Jordan Reed and C.J. Anderson on a bye. He is starting Tyrod Taylor, which I'm a little bit surprised by, but going against Cincinnati's defense, I'm not all that surprised by. What doesn't surprise me is my amazing pick of Tom Brady, and he's the only one doing anything for me right now. He's number one quarterback right now, averaging 24 points, and the anchor of my team. He's scheduled to play Tampa Bay, which at Tampa Bay, and at 2-2, look for Tom Brady to take over. Give him 34. I'm going to actually, I always give these points, and then I do the thing. I'm going to actually add them up. I used to do that. So I'm giving Tom Brady 34 points this week. Not because of favoritism, just because how often do the Patriots go through 2-2? They're playing a weaker defense, and I think he's just going to, do one of those we're the fucking Patriots games. Lamar Miller had a big comeback last week, big game. He's going against Casey's defense. I'm not excited about it. He's projected for 13. I'm actually going to only give him 9. Chris Johnson, he actually got a lot more touches last week. Hopefully that keeps going. He's going against a weaker Philadelphia run defense. He's projected for 7. I'm going to give him 10 points this week. Chris Hogan, I am starting instead of Golden Tate because of the matchup and the aforementioned what I said about Tom Brady. He's scheduled for 13, but I'm going to give him 18 points with touchdown Tom throwing to him. Antonio Brown had bad antics last week. They tried to get him a touchdown just to appease him at the end of the game. A route completely ran for him. And I see that happening still. I think they're definitely going to try to get him in. They are at home, and we know that Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers' offense is a lot better at home than they are on the road. I know that as having Ben Roethlisberger as my quarterback so many years. He's the top quarterback at home, and then he's, number 15, 16 on the road. But he is at home. Antonio Brown going against a beleaguered Jacksonville team who's kind of been sinking a little bit lately. Projected at 18. Give him 24 points this week. Pierre Garçon is going to be starting for me as well because Julio Jones is out. He's going against an Indianapolis defense, which, is still Indianapolis' defense. He'll probably be going against Vontae Davis, which is a strong defensive guy. And as we know, San Francisco's pass offense isn't that great. But we'll see how they do against Indy. He's slated for 15. I think that's about right. So I'll give him 15 as well. Because he's really the only one that they can throw to with Goodwin out. Jared Cook had a good day once Carr went down. And that's important. He's like the most droppiest tight end of all time. But with a quarterback who's going to be scared to stretch it, he's going to look for his blanket. What are blankets? They're tight ends. Jared Cook's going to get a lot of targets, and even if he drops 5, he'll catch 5 and give him a good game. They slayed him for 9. I'm going to give him 12 points this week. Chiefs defense going against a Houston team that's kind of red hot with Watson. We'll see how they do. Watson does against a really good defense who can really rush the passer and cover. We'll see. It's gonna be a little bit of a challenge. Look for Kansas City. They get a few sacks and a pick 6. I'm gonna give them 12 points this week going against the rookie quarterback. He might be looking good, but he hasn't really gone against strong defense. And my kicker, whoever I pick, I'm gonna give 8 points to. 7 points to. And that gives Fraggle Wembley 141 points, well above ESPN's average, because ESPN averages never project an over 20 game. I mean, like, Brady is averaging 24, and they still won't project him at a 20. It's kind of strange, especially going against Tampa Bay. Anyhow, 141 for Wembley. And on the other side, we have Manningception, Tyrod Taylor, Buffalo quarterback, going against Cincinnati, projected at 14. I think he's actually going to do less. I'm going to give him 12. Not a big Tyrod Taylor fan. And actually, I don't think Cincinnati's defense is that bad, especially when they are at home. Zeke Elliott is a monster going against Green Bay. Look for them to rely on him heavily, as Dak is looking like Dak should be. Dallas offensive line still good, struggling a little bit recently. Green Bay's going to key on Zeke, but I just don't think they have the horses to keep them bottled up. The 21 points projected seems just a little low, and I'm going to give him 25 points this week. Carlos Hyde has looked good, but you see that San Francisco's really protecting him and almost not splitting his carries, but 60-40. And I don't know if that's going to increase. But Carlos Hyde still having a little bit nagging injuries against Indy. But I see him having a pretty decent game, getting some short touchdown runs. I'm going to give him 14 points, which is just below the projected. And that's only because he's going against his predecessor, Frankie Gore. Stephon Diggs with Minnesota. Number 1 receiver in the league right now. He overtook Antonio Brown last week in fantasy. Projected at 14 against Chicago. Chicago, obviously, not that good defensively. I don't see Diggs having a humongous play. I don't know why. Just a feeling on this one. Projected at 14. I'm going to keep it right there because he's not going to get that humongous gainer. Odell Beckham has really kind of been kept in check. I projected him out of the top 10 receivers this year, mainly because the other receivers that are on the squad, and you really can tell that the team is getting a little bit tired of him. So I thought that because the injuries, everything like that, his talent is there. I'm not denying that. It's just all the other stuff. I feel that they're skewing a little bit away from him. The 16 against the Chargers, I feel, is a little undervalued with him. I'm going to give him 18 because I think he's going to find at least one end zone. So I'll give him 18 points against the LA Chargers. But every time I see LAC, I see the Clippers. I don't know why. Mike Evans against New England. New England's defense has looked shoddy. I don't know if that's going to improve, but I see actually more like a Carolina game where it's going to be like that 35-35, 30-30 kind of game, and Mike Evans is going to get him some. So give Mike Evans 21 points. Seahawks defense against the Rams. Seahawks look good against the pass. They don't look that great against the run. And in comes Mr. Gurley, who's looked and had a resurgent year. So projected at 6 points.
I think that's pretty accurate. It might not be a good time to start the Seahawks this week. I don't think they're going to have that many opportunities to run one back, and their special teams doesn't usually ever give you that. So the 6 points, I'll give you the 6 points with the Seahawks defense. And your tight end, Jets, projected at 9 against Cleveland. Jets have looked a little bit better, but I still don't like Jets on fantasy. So I'm not going to give him 9. I'll give him 6. And Matt Prater, Detroit against Carolina. The disturbing thing to me is Detroit's gone really conservative. Obviously, I have Golden Tate, so that's why I took him out, which scares me a bit. But Matt Prater, he can always stick it long. Carolina's defense has looked incredibly strong except against the San Francisco 49ers, which everybody does. Anyhow, I'll give Matt Prater actually 13 points this week instead of the projected 8, which brings Manninception to 129. That has Manninception losing by about 10 to Wembley. It's only because the matchups, guys. At the moment, I think Manninception's team is better, but with the bye weeks and everything like that and the matchups this week, I think Wembley takes this one, goes to 3-2. If not, he drops down to 2-3. Thankfully, the division's close, so no matter what, I'm just biding my time, baby. Biding my time. Anyhow, Manninception, good luck. Talk to you later, champ.